Hello and welcome to another Dev Diary video here for Imperator Rome and 2.0 Marius update, as well as the Heirs of Alexander DLC pack. So today, the Dev Diary is going to be rather short because there's a very exciting announcement contained within this Dev Diary. So let's scroll on down. We have here some new art. This image has been seen before. Imperator Key Art Album, yeah. So I've definitely seen this image before, and it is associated with the sweeping changes that are coming with the Marius 2.0 pack, and it's very nice. So let's just read forth, shall we? This post is from Arhio, the game director, again, who has been producing most of the Dev Diaries in recent weeks and has worked really hard to update this game, Imperator Rome, and provide us with some excellent content, I think. So let's see what he has to say. Salutations, conscript fathers, free people of the Republic, and honored travelers from distant lands. Today marks a special moment in the storied history of our great journey. A moment spoken about in whispers for many moons, and which has been the subject of that most abundant of deep and meaningful questions, when? At long last, the cloak of secrecy may be cast off, for the omens augur well. It is my pleasure to announce to you that the 2.0 Marius update and the Heirs of Alexander content pack are ready to be made available to you on the 16th of February, 2021. Now, that is about 2 weeks from now. So, we have a little bit more time before this stuff actually releases. And as far as I know, I'm pretty sure that what the case with this is, there are two things here. There's the Marius update and there's the Heirs of Alexander pack, and I think one of them is Marius update is free and the Heirs of Alexander is pay, I think. But we finally have a release date, the 16th of February 2021 is coming up. I'm very excited, and I'm starting to really think about who I want to play as. Now obviously the Heirs of Alexander pack brings a ton of new content to specifically the Diadochi starting characters, starting civs. So that includes Macedon, Ptolemaic Egypt, the Antigonid Kingdom, and Thrace. And then they all have their own missions, and they also have a common mission. So let's click this spoiler button and see what they have to say. So this is about the Heirs of Alexander pack. The career of Alexander III of Macedon was short and brilliant. In his decade-long war in Asia, Alexander's fire burned a legend into the hearts of kings and conquerors who would follow. His death, however, meant civil war as comrade turned on comrade in an effort to claim the sacred mantle of the fallen king. Do you have what it takes to be the true heir of Alexander's legacy? Paradox Development Studio and Paradox Thalassic are happy to announce Heirs of Alexander, a new content pack for Imperator Rome. Focusing on the successor kingdoms to Alexander the Great's empire, this content pack adds greater depth to playing out the grand ambitions of the Seleucid, Ptolemaic, Antigonid, and Macedonian kingdoms. Right, so I forgot to... I knew there was another one. The Seleucid Empire, obviously, too. So the... they don't mention Thrace here. Right, so I initially mentioned Thrace, Ptolemaic Egypt, Antigonid Kingdom, and Macedon. Let's also not forget the Seleucid Empire. So there are basically 5 Diadochi that really get a boost in terms of content from this pack. So let's take a look. The Heirs of Alexander pack content pack includes unique mission trees, new special mission objectives for the Antigonid Empire in Anatolia, Seleucid Empire in Asia, Ptolemaic Empire in Egypt, Macedonia, and Thrace. Right, so we did go over all of these individually in separate dev diaries throughout the weeks. I invite all of you to check out my previous videos on those very topics, and they're all very exciting. I'm not sure which one I want to play first. I would be interested to know what you guys would be interested in playing first. Which one of these is the most intriguing to you, or are you just going to go ahead and skip it and play as someone else? You know, I would love to hear your thoughts. I'm thinking, Egypt. It's always fun. Seleucids are a bit more of a challenge. Antigonids have a sort of a special situation. Macedonia, of course, has a choice to make in terms of what it does with their dynasty, of course, and it'll all be good. So, shared mission tree. The Diadochi mission objectives available to all the successor kingdoms, so they all have a shared mission tree. The Wonder Designer is part of the Heirs of Alexander pack. This is a new tool that allows players to build their own custom monuments, adding bonuses to the location or to the entire empire. So this was introduced way early on. This was like the first dev diary after the announcement of 2.0, basically. The Marius 2.0 pack before the Heirs of Alexander pack was even announced, I think. So they brought on a brand new team, like a subdivision, in order to make this little Wonder Designer pack, and I think that's awesome. So I didn't cover that in depth, but I'm definitely excited to take a look at it, try to build some wonders. I think that there are historical wonders in there, like the Colossus of Rhodes and all of that, but we'll see. So the inclusion of great wonders brings a lot of flavor to this time period, of course. The antiquity time period, wonder building was a huge prestige boost. It provided a lot of soft power to the great powers of the time, of course. The Lighthouse of Alexandria being one of the examples. So I'm pretty excited for the Wonder Designer as well. New events. Various historical events based on the history and legacy of Alexander's followers. So Paradox players always appreciate new events. So we'll see how those go. New deities. Regional gods and goddesses from the Hellenic kingdoms. Okay, well, they're already... The pantheon of Hellenic gods and goddesses is already fairly large, but they're expanding it a bit. That's cool. New treasures. Distinctive artifacts from the Hellenistic kingdoms. And of course, before, treasures were stored in like holy sites, and the only way to move them around was to like desecrate the holy site, even if it's your own. Even if it's your own religion, didn't make a lot of sense. So that has been changed, thankfully. So we will be able to move our treasures around a little bit. And new music. 3 new music tracks to inspire your successor kingdom. Very nice. Heirs of Alexander will be available at major online retailers on the 16th of February 2021 for the suggested retail price of $9.99 US dollars, $7.19 British pounds, and €9.99 euros. This content pack will be accompanied by a major free update. Oh, okay, so I was right. The 2.0 Marius update to Imperator Rome is a significant reworking of the military system in the game, adding new features that transform war and army management. Yeah, so, okay, that's right. So that is exactly what I said. The Heirs of Alexander pack will cost you $10 or £7.19 if you're in the UK. And, but the 2.0 Marius update is free, and this provides an update to different things, notably just mechanics for the entire game. So let's get into that a little bit. This content pack will be accompanied... Yeah, right. Rome is... so Imperator Rome is a significant rework in the military system in the game, adding new features that transform war and army management. Okay, I just said that. Let's see what this says. So those mechanics include levies, which of course we have in CK3. Draft levies from your province to fight your wars. Their size and composition is based on the cultures and population types in the province. Now, this is something I'm particularly intrigued by because it seems like they're making the capabilities of the soldiers culturally tied to the culture of the population types in a given province. So if you're, a Roman province, most of them would be Roman, but of course as the game goes on, there's migration, there's slave taking, so pop types, they mix them up a little bit. And then the nature of your levies will be tied into the nature of the culture of the pops that are in your province. And I'm really excited to see how that plays out, because historically, the geographic region or the culture that a given regiment or group of soldiers came from, they specialized in stuff like slingers from Thrace, I've mentioned before. So I think that's a good take on the whole time period, and it's a nice way to tie in the history with the game mechanics. Speaking of which, legions do much the same thing in terms of tying in the historical reality with the game mechanics, but of course it's different mechanically, so let's read. Legions, advance your military technology to create standing professional military forces to guard your empire, but beware of their cost and tendency to follow disloyal generals. So legions, of course, they're similar to knights, I guess. I mean, not exactly the same as knights in CK3, but levies are, your riffraff. I mean, you call them up because you're at war, and that's what autocrats do. That's what they did in antiquity. So, you know, you're a peasant or whatever. They'd call you up into the levy system, but, you know, so they're mostly like, they're not full-time soldiers, obviously. They're called upon in times of conflict. Legions, on the other hand, they have to be researched. You don't get them initially. They said maybe 1 or 2 civs get them initially at the beginning of the game. I don't know which ones, but you tend to have to research your way to the Legion ability. And this creates a standing professional army that you don't raise up every time there's a war. They're permanent. You got to pay them. They stand around the whole time. They're professional soldiers, whereas levies are not. And they cost more. And there's also a bigger risk in that they tend to be loyal to generals more than maybe a ruler would like. So the legions provide a possible route to civil war and power and coups and all of that for your disloyal generals, which is always one of the more interesting dynamics of Imperator Rome. That was one of the things that they did right at launch and out of the gate, I think, is just having this disloyalty system that threatened civil war, because, of course, what happened with Caesar, he was a disloyal general whose legion was loyal to him, and he was able to, you know, basically topple the entire republic that way, to never be the same again. So they're trying to reflect that sort of thing. The legions can I don't know how easily, but they can switch their allegiances from the ruler or the state to an individual general. Very cool. Military histories. Legions and mercenary units have histories that will list their accomplishments over time, earning honors or penalties based on their legacies. I really like this as well. As of now, currently in the game, the only sort of manifestation of this is the the Eagle Standard that Roman armies have, and then you can lose that. You can lose the Eagle Standard if you, say, like, lose a battle to the Carthaginians or something. They can take it from you, and then something pops up that says, yo, you need to get your Eagle Standard back. And that's a big deal. You need to get your Eagle Standard back. Anyway, this isn't an exact corollary of this, but it's sort of the same theme. So your legions and mercenary units will have unique histories that are recorded throughout the game, and it'll impact the prestige that they have and their abilities and their histories and all that, and it just adds a lot of flavor. So when I play Imperator Rome, I tend to enjoy renaming my armies, and just to give them that feel of being a historical, long-standing military tradition, of course, and that helped with roleplay, that helped with immersion, that really helped enjoying the game, and now they're sort of formalizing that, and your armies will have their own histories with their own profiles and their own buffs and debuffs depending on what they've done. Excellent. Engineers. Special cohort to help with sieges, river crossings, and road building. Now, yeah, so the engineer is a new unit type that I'm excited to see, because, of course, the engineers played a huge role in the logistics and the technical aspects of all the things we have to do in Imperator Rome, including sieges, crossing rivers, and building roads. Now, on road building, I was sort of expecting a full dev diary, or at least a dev diary that addressed road building. I don't know if it's going to stay the same or not, but there hasn't been much information about that. I really enjoy the road building aspect of Imperator Rome. I think it could use a little bit of tweaking, though, especially, say, if you are building a pretty long road and you order a unit to build from point A to point B, and if you run out of money before that unit finishes, they will just move. They will keep moving. They'll keep moving to the end point of the planned road, even though they've run out of money to actually build it. So they'll build half of it and then just keep walking along the same route and get to the end, and that's something they could change. So we'll see about road building. Changes to inventions and military traditions. Radically overhauled invention system, unlock new abilities alongside old inventions, and shape your civilization like never before. So we covered this in previous dev diaries. The rework of inventions is particularly welcome because, as it was, you just sort of buy them. It wasn't the most immersive or historically based system or anything, so they gave it a little bit of a rework, and that's really cool. Same with military traditions. Diadochi War Goal. New large-scale conquests available to the Hellenistic kingdoms to better model the ambitions of the successor rulers. So, Casus Belli claims, war score, war goal, these sort of staple paradox game mechanics for wars. You know, that's good. It's serviceable. It's functional. It's not always the most, doesn't always make the most sense. So you have some more. I want more of this. So the Diadochi currently get their own unique war goals for a lot of situations, and I'm hoping that more factions in Imperator Rome get access to the same sort of thing, because the whole like war score thing, you can take X amount of territory for Y amount of war score, depending on the number of pops in the provinces that you want, and so on and so forth. It's a bit stale, and it doesn't make a ton of sense, and it leaves a lot of border gore that we don't like to see. So this war goal, this one change, I hope it's the sign of more to come in that direction. Next is a UI overhaul, a completely reworked interface to make options and decisions more intuitive. Good, so we've seen a bit of the UI overhaul, and very welcome. And much more. New unit models for levy and legion units, new port construction options, changes to forts, and deities. So the new unit models look fantastic. One of the criticisms I had when this game launched was there were not enough unit models, not accurate looking to the geographic area, and I think that they've put in some effort to fix that. And port construction also is a new thing. It's a big deal because before they just placed ports and there's nothing you could do about it. You didn't place them. They were just there like as if they were, you know, natural geographic feature or some such thing, but you actually have to build them for the most part now, unless you start the game with a port, you know. And forts are also different, and the deities are a little different. And that is it. This is a short and sweet dev diary, the purpose of which is really to just formally announce the Marius update is coming to you on February 16th, and ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited for that, and I'm definitely going to be playing that on this channel. The only thing to do between now and then is figure out who I want to play as. So I'm thinking of going with the Thracians or the Egyptians or the Seleucids. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. So that pretty much wraps up what we have going on here. If you did like the video, please consider dropping a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.